And welcome back to Movie Reviews 101. I am Darren, and today we're going to talk about The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It, which is directed by The Curse of La Llorona's director Michael Chavez, as he returns to this universe taking over where James Wan brought us many stories of the Warrens in The Conjuring 1 and 2. Well, 2 stories. Anyway, and we get to see the Warrens' latest story as they look to fight against an evil force. And in this one we follow how Ed and Lorraine have to look into what happened in a murder case which may have contained a possessed person committing a murder which they were involved in a previous exorcism, and they have to look into what's been happening, which will put them into a position of grave danger in one of their most frightening stories ever to be told. Ooh, let's see, what are the free ups? Number one is the wider world. Now, everything in this Conjuring universe, the Annabelles, the nuns, the Curse of Llorona, everything has tended to maintain within a property, be it a house, a farm, a nun area, monastery, that's the word. And this one has gone way out of this. It blows out from being just a house. It's a full-blown investigation around America to what could have been happening and if there anything else has happened. And I think this is quite an interesting spin on what we've seen previously. Again, it plays into the idea that people could be involved in things they shouldn't be, and they could be dangerous towards people. And being an investigation movie, it's more of a dark crime movie with ghosty stuff happening, which won't get into too much details of what, but we know there's going to be some form of demonic stuff going on. But that sort of stuff on the side, which I did enjoy watching. Number two is Ed and Lorraine's relationship. We get to learn more about them, and this is one that gets much more personal for Ed and Lorraine, because in the previous two, especially in the first Conjuring, it's more about the worry of what's happening with their youngest, or their young daughter, who's now growing up through the films. In the second one, it's more about Lorraine worrying about Ed because she sees him get killed in a vision. And in this one, Ed is actually injured, or he actually has a heart attack in the opening sequence. So he's not his fit, healthy self we're used to seeing. So it shows a much more vulnerable person, and it shows just what the two mean to each other with some flashbacks which could tease to something more in the future, which I would love to see. And the final one is the exorcism scenes. I am quite open and saying I'm not really a fan of most exorcism movies, that I find them pretty boring and generic and stuff. We've seen them all before. I don't like exorcism movies. I'm not scared by them. I just find them, we know what's going to happen. And in this one, there's a lot of body contortions, which are, yeah, that body don't go that way. Not going to lie. And I kind of like those scenes because they were quite intense for everything else that was going on. They were the most intense horror moments. So that was the free ups. So should we go to the downs? Yeah, let's try them. Okay. Well, I do think the story has a wide world. This neglects the main victims' families. One of the other things I really enjoy in the first two Conjurings is it's nearly 45 minutes to an hour or so before the Warrens meet the family that are being haunted. So we get to see a lot of what's been happening. And in this one, we literally jump in and the Warrens are there ready to perform this exorcism. And we learn very little about this family and all of the victims going through the film. Obviously, we do focus more on the main young man, but overall, it's just there's just that little disconnect, and I think that's a bit down to the writing rather than anything else. But again, it might be because they're trying to do a bigger story. Number two is, well, this is an investigation movie. Another thing that seems to be a bit lacking in this one is the fact that we don't seem to want to connect the universe anymore. There's a few winks and nudges to previous films, but one of the major little things that we pick up on in the original Conjuring is we have the whole Annabelle storyline. It's not a major part of the movie, but it's there. And again, in The Conjuring 2, the visit from the nun and the connection with the nun, we've created more. And even when Annabelle comes home, we open the door to everything. Let's face it, everything. We want to see more. And in this one, it's just, oh, this happened, and this stuff happened, and yeah, and okay. And it just felt like it wanted to just be a standalone movie, and it didn't feel like it could be with all of the connections it was winking to previously. But again, I like to nitpick when I do these. And the last one is probably the only thing that truly is terrible here, and that is the guy that is murdered is actually painted to be an absolute arsehole. And it's just the way he's got loud, annoying music. He wants to drink. He runs a dog shelter, and he doesn't like dogs. It's like, who are you? Why are you such an arsehole? I know this is meant to be based on a real person, but come on, at least give the family some points that there was some niceness about this guy. Like, he was a victim in this. It wasn't just what happened. It wasn't his decision what happened. It wasn't. You know what I mean? Just yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts on The Conjuring. Overall, I think it really is a great addition to the franchise. In fairness, I do like all of the movies in their own way. I'm not the biggest fan of the first Annabelle, but the rest I can watch and have watched all of them more than once. So, if you can watch horror movies more than once, they're quite fun. And for this, I'm going to put it right in the middle of the mix, which again, I always find it really hard. If people have a grade or rank the Conjuring movies, I always think the Conjuring 1 and 2 are like high tier brilliance, and then I find the rest are just like great movement, creation, Come Home. I think brilliant movies, but not quite on the Conjuring tier. And this one fits around that level where they're better than the weaker ones like The Nun and Annabelle and Curse of La Llorona, but it's sort of in the middle of the bunch. I'm not doing a full ranking, even though it sounded like I just did. Never mind. I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 5. Let me know what you think of The Conjuring. The devil made me do it. In the comments below. And until next time, enjoy your movies, and goodbye.